Alright, so what is this? Third video in a row? You can see what time it is. So she came back with her little video response. This girl is always, so it's, what is it? Excuse me, February 27th of 2026. In the afternoon now, going on 4 p.m. This girl has always wanted to have a YouTube battle. Back in the day when this first started, she used to try and get all her friends to sit around and watch my videos on some big TV screen up on a wall when they told her to shut the shit off and turn on some music. Oh, we just got back from the eye appointment. I went to an eye appointment. And, yeah, hold on a minute. Okay, honestly, I'm kind of tired for this. Right? Because, you know, I've been going. I went to the eye doctor for all that surgery, Frankenstein surgery. Oh my God, my right eye pressure was at 24 psi today. It was higher than what it was at 21 before I had the surgery. Ain't that interesting? So, I have to use my little eye drop again, which this one's not too bad. When he's giving me a different kind on top of that one, that's when it gets crazy and I don't like it. And it doesn't really bring down the pressure as much as it should, and that's why we went with the route of the surgery, right? Now, the doctor I seen today actually wasn't my eye doctor, it was his associate, right? And I've seen her before, and she reminded me that it's still going to be a roller coaster, right? In other words, you have good days and you have your bad days. For the last 4 days or so, it's been kind of rough with me with my eyes, right? I felt, you know, like, I mean, it's always going to be dark and don't see the vibrant colors, and because of the lack of octave nerves, right? Anyway, the overworking, she says, wouldn't affect the eye pressure, but I say that's up for debate. When you're putting in 15 hours a day on your feet all day, or whatever hours you're working, I normally do the night shift, right? Basically about 12 to 15 hours straight, and you're drinking coffee and not eating as well as you probably should, or whatever, you know, that affects your... She was more concerned about my blood pressure than she was about the pressure in my eye. And I'm like, well, I don't have a problem with high blood pressure, so that's never been a problem for me. And so anyway, she did say that I'm still on that roller coaster stage where the pressure will go up and down, and whatever, because I guess they put some kind of steroid in my eye when they did the surgery, and it hasn't quite how do you pronounce that? Dissipated. Like, it hasn't dissolved, right, completely yet. And, you know, membranes haven't quite healed fully yet. So, you know, it's one day at a time. Start with the Duotrav, with the back into the right eye to bring down the pressure, and then if that doesn't work, then I guess I go back for some kind of surgery to adjust the tube, or whether it's maybe done in the office when you go for a general checkup. I don't know how they would do that. I would think that they'd have to book you back into the hospital, because, you know, it's further, it's up, the tube is up by the ear in the head. So, I might be having to look at another surgery to adjust the tube. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm still chugging along though, right? So anyway, Andre is on the prowl here, right? Check it up to see if there was any more comments or whatever. And he said, Nana, she made another video. I said, oh, okay. So he started listening, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm up for this because I'm bagged. Anyway, I started listening a little bit here, right? Because the other ones I did everything on the fly, eh? As she's talking. Now you have to remember, this girl's been looking for a YouTube beef from the moment ShaMay was dead, and she got up on YouTube beaking off at the mouth with her little this and little that. And it never took off, right? Right? So, okay. Then she had her issues, she had her boyfriends, had her issues, had her boyfriends, disappeared for a while because of her issues, came back. Then there was baby Hayden, who I think is the father to the I think baby Hayden is the child to the man that she married, because the man she married, she stole from the mother of baby Hayden, because she likes other women's men. That's why she went after Freddie when ShaMay started dealing with Julian. Well, she went after Freddie when she met ShaMay, and she was sneaking around behind ShaMay's back as ShaMay and Freddie were still in a relationship, but they were on the verge of breaking up. So versus waiting for them to completely break up, she went and had sex with Freddie, left her clues behind, a tampon, bobby pins, and there was something else she left behind, knowing that ShaMay would show up at some point, find them in Freddie's room, and then get jealous because Freddie had another woman in the bedroom, right? Which was this girl. So, I'm just saying, right? So anyway, this guy that she's with right now, I'm pretty sure is the father of baby Hayden, to whom she ended up taking down those videos because she's now with the father. But that child apparently died, as she was accusing the mother of negligence. All right, just giving you some backdrop history here, right? So now, I guess she's got a lot of time on her hands because she's doing these videos back to back, and I just thought I'd listen through it, try and keep it short, but soon into the video, I mean, I don't know why she thinks I said I would call Child Protective Services on her when that's not what I said, if she was listening. And then, of course, now she's on the bandwagon saying that she's going to call Child Protective Services on me back to back to back, as well as the city. Right? More threats, people. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Okay, I'm going to stop this video before I get too far into it, okay? We're going to do it on the fly. If it takes 2 hours to do it on the fly, that's what it takes, okay? Regardless, I had a good day with my grandkids out and about in the mall, carrying my cross, right? Andre's all motivated to get more serious about his schoolwork because he got $85 from an account that was closed today at a bank where they like to say I was a good customer for 30 years, right? But, you know, I'm going bankrupt. One way or another, I'm going bankrupt. So I closed that account. But with that bank, CIBC Bank, they facilitated the medical kidnapping of Uncle John, right, in partnership with Fraser Health Authority, to steal his money so that he could be locked away like a dirty secret for 3 years in some old folks' home, while his sister stole his inheritance, wheeling and dealing in the back room with CIBC Bank as they opened up some sort of registered savings plan, put Andre's little trust account on lockdown for 8 years because it required his signature for anything to be released from it. But I guess after 8 years they gave up on it because they know he's dead. And so yeah, they gave me back the $85. I closed my account. C'est la vie, right? That bank screwed my family over, put my family into deep, deep depression, right? Scandalized me on YouTube because I fought the good fight for Uncle John as I walk proud in the community with his cane that is well over 50 years with tape on it. Okay? I will never leave Uncle John behind. And I said, Andre, you know, when you were in foster care, Nana borrowed some money on my life insurance policy. Uncle John and I, we opened up that account. I deposit my life insurance policy money that I borrowed, and then that's what I started to use, that money that I borrowed on my life insurance policy, to prepare for a lawsuit in the Supreme Court of Canada to get my grandson back. And I had to pay for the car and, you know, to fix the car and all that other crap, right? Just, it was all so that I could do what I had to do to fight for Andre. So it kind of got depleted, but Uncle John and I, we were going to start building it up again, right? But they took him because they stole his money. And the bank made huge dividends on that. Huge dividends. So I don't feel bad for closing that account. But I told Andre, this came from Uncle John. He loved you, so you need to step up to the plate and take your education a little more serious. So when we got home, you know what he said? Nana, I'm going to try harder and I'm going to start getting more involved with my schoolwork. I said, Uncle John would be proud of you. That's what it's all about, Andre. So that's basically what we did today. And then I come home, he pulls this up. I listened to it for a little bit, and she's coming in with threat after threat after, well, 2 threats. She's calling MCFD on me on multiple occasions, more than one. She plans on doing that. And she's going to call in the city. So, is that a YouTube beef? Is that her beef? Like, is that how she plans on getting views? Right? Okay, so let's listen. So that's the backdrop on it. That's the introduction. So we're going to start from the beginning. All right. And this one's a little longer, so I don't know. I only got like a few minutes into it. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're just going to stop. Where am I? I said, we're just going to stop and we're going to start from the beginning. So once I get past a certain point, as soon as she starts talking about the city, I just shut the video off. I said, okay, we're going to do it on the fly. Okay? All right. Here we go.
So, I know that you didn't see the comments on the last video, one of my supporters, and I know that you didn't see...
So why wouldn't the comment from one of your supporters be put up there? Well, why did it disappear? Did YouTube take it down? Or did you hide it? Not that I care.
The comments are recently on the video that you videoed of. Anywho, as for your little friend Mike...
First of all, that's a man. I doubt he's little, and he's not my friend. Okay? And as for that Jacob dude, for all we know, that could be you coming in with your fake user account, because I clicked on that link to that channel, and that account was opened up yesterday. That's something you would do, just so that you could talk to yourself and answer questions, because from what I can tell, there are 5 replies to that one comment from Jacob, which we'll backtrack on at the end of this video, where 4 of them are yours. And then I guess one of your supporters came in to pat you on the back. Outside of that, if Jacob is an individual, right, that is who he says he is in terms of his opinion, then that's good, because he cares about his family. Yeah, there's somebody in his family that he's maybe worried about. Or maybe somebody in his family has already died and there's something nagging at him and it's just not sitting right. But maybe through listening through my videos, he's coming together with his clues And maybe he's coming to the realization that his loved one was murdered. And he's seeking the truth because he's a justice warrior. I hope so.
Yeah, none of his comments mattered, and I didn't listen to them either. I skipped through your video, as well as...
Yeah, right. You're just going to skip through my videos so that you didn't have to listen to what somebody else had to say. Sure. And as fast as you skipped through it, you came and did another video twice as long as the first two videos you've been doing.
I never even got to see them because on my videos, and because it's the Tasty Show, we gotta remember that. I do like to delete and block, which is fine. I mean, because it's my show. But the lovely thing with with the fact that YouTube and how it works, I can put little things, words to flag, and the fact that Mr. Mike couldn't articulate himself correctly, that's exactly why none of his comments got through. The only person who saw his comment was him.
Well, first of all, that's not true because I don't have no flagged words. The only thing I have on my channel is hold all comments because I get trolls like you coming in under fake user accounts that I do block and then disappear for a while until they can come in like you and recreate another fake user account with their troll bullshit. And I will either copy and paste the bullshit and post it on my channel and put troll alert on it. I haven't done that for a long time, but besides that point, I have no words flagged or none of that stuff. And some of my longtime subscribers can say the simplest thing, you know, nothing threatening, nothing abrasive, nothing rude, and their comments just disappear. So, you know, whatever. I'm just saying.
And you guys, that to me defeats the purpose. Anyways, for that other guy, what would you say his name was? Brian, Ryan, something like that.
Well, never seen no Brian or Ryan. Only Jacob and Mike. There was two of them.
For him, I really don't care. The funny thing about his comment is, he said Karma is a female dog.
Never seen that comment.
It is.
What happened to it?
It doesn't bother me at all for him to speak upon what happened to Julian. It doesn't bother me. I've dealt with that. That's the thing. I've dealt with that.
I don't think they're trying to make you feel bad for what happened to your brother, outside of pointing out his character as to why that would happen. It was not a random act. Okay? He wasn't accidentally shot at a gas station. He went to a gas station with somebody following him, and they waited until he was up by the window, and I guess when he turned away and started walking back to the car, that's when they took him out. That was done with intent. And whoever killed him wasn't the only person who didn't like him. You see, that's the thing. There was a lot of people out there who didn't like him. And the last time I checked, the cops haven't solved it unless you're not telling people that so-and-so got arrested for shooting down your brother in front of a gas station at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, or whenever it was in the morning, because it was probably after the bar or something dumb like that. And if the murder was solved, you would think you would say something about that. So for whoever you think did it, it's still Rumorville. It's still Rumorville. Because there was a lot of people out there who didn't like him. And that's just a fact.
Now, the fact that I've allowed myself, or he allowed myself to take him out of his character, He just gave me engagement.
That person called out Julian for what he was, and you're saying that that man or that person took Julian out of his character? No. It doesn't work like that. If somebody's going to go out of their way and shoot you in a freaking gas station, that says a lot about the person that's being shot. Okay? Just saying. In terms of character.
And on my YouTube channel. That benefits me. Right? So, thank you to your supporters supporting me. I want to just say thank you for that.
Well, I wouldn't call them my supporters because I'm not even aware of these people. I just acknowledged what they said, and I tried to put myself in their shoes as a man trying to protect their family in a society that is completely out of control. Right? If they were women, I would do the same thing. Right? Mothers want their children to be safe. Why wouldn't fathers? Fathers want their children to be safe. They want their brothers and sisters to be safe. And so on and so on. But men, they think a little more different than us women. And by nature, they are protectors. Right? So you got to keep that in mind. For them to come out and speak and say something tells you that they're ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
Please come back in with some more comments, because at the end of the month I do get an annual email from YouTube letting me know about engagement, views, and all that lovely stuff. So I mean, anything helps. Whether it's hate, positivity.
So are you trying to bring up that beef sector crap again? Like you tried when Amari was 7 months old and you were getting all your friends to come to your house and sit in the living room and watch my YouTube videos on a 56-inch TV screen hung up on the wall, and they're telling you to shut the shit off and turn on some music? That's not why they came over? Isn't that what your cousin said? Everybody was saying, turn off that video. We don't want to listen to Judy. And no, you wanted everybody to listen so that you can sit there and crab on about me. So, are you looking to rekindle that situation where your YouTube channel will blow up? Yeah, okay.
It goes towards engagement, period. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. Nextly.
Be a stay-at-home mom making threats on a 60 or 64-year-old woman? Because the threats are coming in real soon. That's why I turned it on from the beginning versus listening to it and then coming back and try and keep it short and sweet. No. We're going to do a walk and talk. This is what you call a walk and talk.
You said you're going to call Alberta.
Well, okay, first of all, if you're talking to me saying that I said I was going to call Alberta, no, you weren't listening. I don't need to call, because didn't you listen to that video that I had that conversation with that social worker when I asked her, I said, have you seen any of my videos? She said, no, I don't watch your videos. I told her she should. Okay? But let me remind you, these social workers over the years are well aware. That whole office, the higher ups are well aware of my YouTube channel. Somebody's watching. The higher ups are making sure somebody's watching, right? Because they're turning over every stone that they can turn over at this point. And I want them to watch, because I want them to stop and think about illegal organ harvesting that's going on right under their noses, whether they're aware of it or not, whether they participate in it under a beehive mentality or not. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Whether the higher-ups tell them to ignore it or not, they need to be aware of it, because they're like everybody else. They're not immune to having their family members murdered through fentanyl and hot capping. Okay? It's one thing being shot down in a gas station, and there's no denying it. That person was murdered, and the cops are running around looking for the culprit. It's another thing when your loved one is fine one day and dead the next day because somebody hot capped them with fentanyl. Or in ShaMay's case, used medical fentanyl to subdue her and then gave her a speedball to kill her. All right? Because that was hot capping. And they hot cap people who do this. They do it in various ways. Social workers are not immune to that problem if they have loved ones. It could be their brother. It could be their mother. It could be their sister. It could be their niece or nephew. It could be their own children. I have talked to social workers on the phone in the past where they've lost their own brother due to drugs being laced. Now, whether they thought that their loved one was hot capped through murder, or whether it was a quote-unquote accident because they just happened to buy bad dope, well, that's between them and their maker. Where I bring to the table, before you're quick to settle for the old okie dokie, you need to look past it and start looking at the clues, and chances are you might find out that maybe your loved one was murdered. Because there's more murder in this province than you think. Right? So, I did not say I will call social workers on you. I don't need to, because they're already watching my videos. Okay? All I said is they need to take note of, because, you know, they do psychological assessments on people. Right? You're either, you know, you can either cope or you can't. You're either chronically depressed and you depend on antidepressants, or you don't. You either have a lot of physical ailments where your body aches and you need pain medication, or you don't. In my situation, I'm losing my eyesight, which makes them nervous, and I can understand that, right? But at this point, I'm still functioning. I hold down the fort, right? And I'm making moves slowly but surely to liquidate something. How I liquidate, I'm not sure yet, because I still have to organize it and make it presentable, right? In terms of if I'm going to sell something, I have to make it presentable, right? So that it's easy for the person to decide what they want, being that there's a selection. Or I'll sit down with the kids downstairs after things get a little more organized, and I'll pull out bag after bag after bag of miscellaneous toys right in the middle of the living room on a nice little carpet that I buy for that area where I'm going to lay down that mat for Amari so he has more floor time. And the kids can pick through the bag, pick what they want. Of course, they're going to want everything, so maybe we'll put them into categories. I don't know yet. Or maybe I'll just throw a whole bunch into a bin, and when Marcane's kid turns 2 or 3 or 4 years old, I'll say, here, take the bin. If I have no place to store the bin, then I don't know. I'll have to cross that bridge when I get to it, but I'm not even there yet. But in terms of calling freaking Edmonton, having them to run around looking, no, I ain't got time for that shit. That's not my character. But you're putting yourself out there, making threats on a vulnerable family, a 64-year-old woman who does the daily grind 15 hours at a time. That ain't no joke. You don't think that they're not questioning your ulterior motive? Oh, yeah.
Social workers or whatever. That's fine. Doctors.
I don't need to call them. They're watching my videos. They've been watching my videos ever since Andre. Maybe they don't watch each and every videos, but they stay in the loop. Okay? So you're only shooting yourself in the foot. That's all. That's all that's happening here. So when they come knocking, don't be surprised. Because they're making an assessment on you, not on me.
You'd have to know what city I'm actually in.
I don't care what, you're either in Calgary or you're in Edmonton. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All they have to do is get the IP address off your YouTube channel. Didn't you know that YouTube works with the government? Well, you should by now.
First and foremost. Do I stay in the same city? Not really.
What you gonna do? Be traveling around all over the country once you have a little baby in your arms? Okay.
Am I coming?
I thought you work full time. How does that work?
Coming back to Vancouver sooner than later? Yeah, I am. Also, too, my kid's not even born yet. So, I mean, you can call if you like.
I don't need to. If the social workers feel like you're unstable, they'll just, I don't know, flag you. If they feel that you're unstable. The way you carry on with me makes some people think that you're unstable. It definitely makes me think you're unstable. I don't think I'm the only person that thinks that you're unstable. The more you act out and make threats, makes you look even more unstable. Don't blame me for that. That's you.
That's not going to affect me. For one, having a social services fundamentals certificate, I mean, I'm good off that. Being clean off of any...
Being clean? Now, only an addict would say clean. Only an addict would use the word clean. Whatever it was that you were addicted to make you feel that you're clean, well, that's between you and your maker and anybody else that might be concerned in the future as to whether you stay clean, being that you're clean right now. Okay? I'm just saying.
Type of substances, good off that. That will show in all the blood tests that I'm doing.
Yeah, until after a year when the baby's 1 year old and you sneak off and go get high. And that's all it's going to take to tip you over the edge. And it won't be long before you're a full-blown fucking addict again, because that's usually how addiction works. If you know anything about addiction, being that you might be an addict, that's why you just stay off the drugs, stay off the alcohol, right? Otherwise, that's it. You'll be right back where you started and you'll be binging.
Throughout my pregnancy. Also, too, the fact that I'm working a full-time job, I'm good for that. My man works a full-time job, I'm good for that.
Yeah, you're working a full-time job, flying all over the country, okay. More than one, often. You going here, there, and everywhere, often. So I don't know what kind of full-time, unless, of course, that's part of your job.
As well as, what else was I going to say? What else was I going to say about that? Either way, we're good for that, regardless. Oh, and ongoing counseling and...
Okay, so ongoing counseling and anger management. So what? You go to ongoing counseling for anger management? Well, I already knew you had anger management problems, right? And bipolar shit, probably, right? So now you're just confirming that, which is nobody to cast judgment here, but...
Anger management, that's why I'm such a cool cucumber.
Until you blow a gasket. And it's just going to take a few drinks for you to blow a gasket once you're not pregnant anymore. And you get comfortable with the routine. Right? You'll be the housewife that drinks at home when your hubby's at work, hiding the bottle. Yeah, I can see that happening.
And because I'm doing all those things, your little phone call?
No, I'm not making a phone call. I don't need to. I probably got a few eyeballs on this video as they're coming in because of you, in terms of social services. What are they going to come and say? Oh, you're fighting with Tamika Johnson-Dixon, a.k.a. Tasty Bonding, ha ha ha, on YouTube? I'll be, well, yeah. Now you guys know why this girl can't come into the picture after I'm gone. Right? Andre puts a post, Nana died, she's not around no more, blah, blah, blah. And what? Tasty Bonnie's going to show up at the door, banging on the door, telling Marcane she wants Amari? She wants to see Amari? Marcane will be like, no, buzz off, you little bug. Get out of here. Oh, I'm going to call social services. Go ahead. It's already on the file. I don't want you anywhere near my family, whether I'm alive or dead. That decision was made a long time ago. You're unstable. You're unpredictable. You're a hoodlum. You're dangerous. You're a freak. Can't say it enough. You're a stalker. You're not trustworthy.
It's not going to mean anything.
Have your little kid. I told you a long time ago, get on with your happy little life.
But since you brought it up, though, I don't mind calling.
No, I was warning you. Keep it up. There's people watching my channel that might just be interested in following you to the hospital. Keeping an eye on your ass. But, being that you think, you just said being that you think that I threatened to call social services on you in Alberta, as if I would do such a thing, now you're threatening, what are you threatening to do to me? What are you threatening to do me?
MCFD.
So now you're threatening to call MCFD on me, even though I've had MCFD riding my ass since September. And I'm like, okay, so what's the end goal? Like, when do you plan on closing the file? Then they come back and they say, well, we're not closing the file because the higher up said, you got to do this, this, and this. Well, I'm in the middle of doing the 3 things that they added to the list. Okay? One is the fire department. No prob. I'm open to suggestions. Just keep in mind, I'm only one person. I've been here 15 months. It's going to take a little while to work through it. But while you're here, here's 11 questions that I wouldn't mind answered, so that when I come into these issues, I know what the boundaries are. I know what the scope is in terms of how I can build on whatever it is that the questions relate to, right? I know how to deal with the problem that I have that maybe they can give me some advice on to deal with, right? 11 questions. So I see the negative as a positive in some ways. Am I completely comfortable with it? Hell no, because it's intrusive and I feel vulnerable, and I wish I was a super nana, but I'm not. I can only do so much in a day. So I'm just taking it in stride. And I've said, if it gets ugly, I'll leave. I'll keep it simple. Marcane can move in, whatever, deal with the crap, and at least Amari and Andre can stay together in an environment that they know and they feel safe in, and it will all iron itself out if it requires me to walk out. And that is just the best, right? In terms of, if I'm such a thorn in everybody's butt, well, I'll just remove myself and they can deal with it, because I'm not here to antagonize people, okay? Whereas with you, you threatening to call MCFD on me? Okay, let's hear about it. Let's hear what you got to say about that.
For multiple wellness checks.
So you're going to call multiple times to MCFD for wellness checks? Yeah, okay. And you don't expect them to look at you and question your mental state to even think about it, considering the circumstances at hand? That would be negligent on their part to not make a note. You gotta be a very malicious, spiteful, vindictive individual to make that kind of threat online to someone like me that's already walking the talk. Unless, of course, you think I'm just telling a fable here and there is no social workers lurking around in the background and I'm just doing it on YouTube for clout, as if. Like, you're loose. You're the one with the freaking loose screw, for crying out loud.
On my nephew. Now, because you are high in concern right now, those calls that I'm going to make, those are going to come back to you. And because you're so...
So, are you listening to this, people? She's because she didn't take the time to listen to what I said, she's accusing me of threatening to call social services on her over 1,000 miles away in a different province, as if. And because of that, she wants to retaliate and call multiple times social services on me so that she can, what? What is she trying to accomplish here?
Belligerently aggressive. That's...
Well, you know what? They know I get belligerent. They know I'm under stress. They know I do the daily grind. They know I'm a hard knock in terms of I've done community activism, I've done park events, I've worked with 40, 60 kids, you know, I've worked with homeless people, I've had to stand my ground with my own kids, or whatever. I worked in the yard for a year, 7 days a week, 12 to 10 hours a day, when Sook was on board saying, mush, bitch, move this pile of wood over here, or whatever, okay? So that social worker was saying, well, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to trigger you here, so I don't really want to say too much because I know you can go off on a rocket because you get all emotional. And in one way, I don't really blame you because I can understand that you're under a lot of stress, blah, blah, blah. So whatever you think that you got to say, it's insignificant, really, in the great grand scheme of things.
Mental illness, that's going to look bad on you.
If they thought I had a mental illness and I was unstable and I couldn't function, it would have been game over a long time ago. Okay?
I mean, we can play that game if you like. I don't care.
You're the one that's just making yourself look good. If you think you can call it, oh, I know you'll get your friends to call in randomly so it doesn't all be pointed back at you. Okay. Because you wouldn't have the balls to call them back to back to back to back. You have the balls to come on the internet on YouTube and say you would do it. But at the end of the day, I doubt you would do it. You would rather use one of your friends or your hubby as a tool to do your dirty work, so that you can think it can distract away from you. I'll be real busy with the social worker, so why the hell would I want to call on you? Well, first of all, I have no interest in calling on you. I just said you need to be careful because they're watching my channel. So why you want to put yourself in the fray, up in front, trying to bring in a YouTube beef? I don't know. Because at best, I just talk about being ShaMay murdered by you and your brother through the act of premeditation, and how my government failed my family and put my grandson at risk when they bowed out of court. And they know that's true, but ain't nobody acting on it, right? It's not like I'm running off to court and filing a lawsuit against MCFD because they put Amari at risk for making me stand with Julian and do all that shit so that they could bow out, right? When they should have put him in his check. But what are they? Because when they go to court, there's two acts. There's the Family Act And then there's the community something something, which is the one that they work under. So they bowed out with their file, and then it just was the family act between me and Julian. Right? You haven't dealt with those things, so you wouldn't know.
You want me to act like you? Ah, she's ending the video on a threat. She's threatening me.
Yep, you are threatening me. You just upped the ante. Not only are you coming to my door insisting that you have a right to be there as you're being told not to, now you're threatening to make multiple phone calls to MCFD to distract away from yourself as you use other people to do your dirty work, because I doubt you have the balls to make multiple phone calls by yourself.
Yeah. Oh, Judy, you're threatening me. Girl, I can play you on you. Also, too, if you would like me to call the city.
There. That's when I turned off the camera and I decided to take it to the front and go through it on the fly. So that part up into this part, I had heard. Anything from this point, where's my head? Anything from this point now, I have not heard. So anything I gotta say will be on my first instincts, on my first thoughts. It will be what you call on the fly. So she's threatened to come to my house, even though she's not allowed to come. She's threatened to call MCFD on me more than once, multiple calls. And now she's threatening to call the city of Surrey on me. And that's in the space of what? 2 days? Hold on a minute. Alright, 3 major threats in 2 days. Now she's threatening the city of Surrey on me. Well, let me remind you, I paid $2,150 in the year of 2025 to have my yard wiped out of everything that I practically owned in the dollar amount of over $8,000 if I had to put a dollar amount on it, just to so-called appease my landlords so that when they want to sell the house, it looks, I don't know. It was done for Google Maps. It was done for the prospect of selling the house. That's all it was. They don't care about the porch falling apart and all that crap. They didn't care if I needed wood for this and wood for that. None of that shit, right? I'm just saying.
Since I know where you live, your address and everything like that.
So what, are you going to call from Edmonton or from Calgary, the city of Surrey, to complain about the yard? Because maybe I might do a yard check and you'll see that it's too gray because spring hasn't come yet. Is that going to be the call? It's too gray? Like, come on.
Thing is, a few times that the cities came to your house, that was me. Yeah, that was me. But
was it? Did she just admit to it? Is that what she just admitted to? Now, keep in mind, people, this is on the fly now. Okay, this is on the fly now. I didn't hear this part of the video. We're going to backtrack on it. Like, this girl's got some serious mental health issues. And if she's taking anger management, and what was the other? It was anger management and counseling. So she's going for counseling, and she's taking anger management classes as she's admitting online, trying to spark up a beef sector so she can get more views and get monetized, right, on the expense of making threats to the caregiver of her nephew, right? And now she's admitting that, well, now she's saying that not only is she going to call Ministry of Children and Family Development on wellness checks on me in the multiples, like multiple times, she's now saying that she's going to call up the city of Surrey because she knows where I live, and she's admitting to already have done it in the past. Let's hear if I hear that correctly.
Oh, Judy, you're threatening me. Girl, I can play you on you. Also, too, if you would like me to call the city, since I know where you lived, your address and everything like that, the funny thing is, a few times that the cities came to your house, that was me. Yeah.
Okay, so she admitted it. A few times, more than 2. People, she used to come into my yard and dig around with silver knives. Leave the silver, like, a butter knife with the silver handles, and leave them in my yard. She threw cell phones in the pond. She threw batteries in the pond. She was burying batteries in the dirt. I do believe she's the potato thief when she lived out here. Okay? I'm just saying. So I believe that she called. I do. And she's saying a few times, which means more than 2 times.
That was me. But there's nothing stopping me from calling the city again.
But there's nothing stopping me from calling again. Is she calling because what? I paid my dues. $2,150. There was a big price to pay. I lost $8,000 worth of belongings, including play equipment that my little teeny weeny grandchildren would love to have it this year. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of non-profit shit went out the door. Freaking sergers, $1,500 sergers went out the door. All my wood that I needed to repair things went out the door. Anything and all my planter pots, good or bad, most of them went out the door. Some of them were like brand new, went out the door. A whole lot of shit went out the door. Maybe it was you that started that process. I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think so. I don't think it was all you, because I know the politics out here, okay?
So, I mean, if you want to put yourself through that mental health and all of that, that's up to you, babe.
No, I'm already prepared to work out in the yard blind as a bat, holding down the fort. I already gearing myself up in the mind for that. I can't depend on my neighbors by paying them to pull morning glory or do this or do that. So I have to do it for myself, right? Hopefully Andre will step up to the plate and help a little bit. My son said he'll help a little bit. And considering there's really nothing left in the yard, as I got some person in the neighborhood stealing all my river rocks now so that they can support their successful business, as they're leaving their rock behind saying success on my steps out front, which tells me, and I've got empty buckets in my yard now that had rocks in them, tells me that whoever left that rock there is probably stealing river rocks so that they can shine them up, paint them, put their little words on them, and try and sell them. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're freaking hood rats. Stealing is stealing.
Fine either way. I just wanted to let you know that. I did want to come and say also too, when I asked you about getting ShaMay's medical files, you said you basically admitted actually to dropping the ball and everything like that. The funny thing is, a few times that the cities came to your house, that was me. Yeah, that was me. But there's nothing stopping me from calling the city again. So, I mean, if you want to put yourself through that mental health and all of that, that's up to you, babe. I'm fine either way. I just wanted to let you know that. I did want to come and say also, too, when I asked you about getting ShaMay's medical files, you said you basically admitted, actually, to dropping the ball.
Well, yeah, because I had you calling the city of Surrey on me, putting me in that yard with the whip on my back. Yeah, and I had the daily grind after working in the yard all day, having to come inside and look after Amari and have that heart of steel. But if you notice, I'm still here, and I didn't crack. I don't go for counseling. I don't need what is that called? Anger management programs and all that crap. You don't see me running off to the booze can and getting drunk every night or doing drugs or whatever people do over there. I'm just saying. If I go over to the booze can, it's only to motivate people to pick up a book and put down the booze. You know, maybe hire some people to do some piecework so that we can start selling off do something for the community. I'm just saying. Instead of wallowing and giving up hope. I bring hope. I give drums away. I gave a broken guitar away, but they can fix the guitar, and people play the guitar even when it's broken. I took over beautiful, beautiful African drums, and I gave it to James. What else have I done over there? I gave them a carving tool, and I walked over with some staffs, pieces of wood that Sierra and I brought home before they built that 55 and older old folks home, and they cut down over 100 trees. They cut down over 100 trees on that property, and Sierra and we brought them home, and I've got them in the shed in the front, and I took 2 of them next door, and I gave them to a person, and I said, you know, because, you know, he's not doing very much, right? And I said, how would you like to, you know, maybe start a little program and start making a staff, like a walking staff, right? Like a Moses walking staff. So I came with two pieces of wood that were well cured and a set of carving tools, and I left it and I gave it to them. I've given them food. I've given, not a lot, but I'll just give them potatoes and some squash and some sweet potatoes, and you know what I'm saying? And I hire them when they're willing to work, and I give them money to work. So it's not like I'm doing anything bad, right? Because I'm not. So, you know, I don't know what the hell you're thinking here. Seriously.
You said that you're...
But what I'm trying to say is I kind of got distracted there. I had to pick and choose my battles. Amari was my battle. Laundry was my battle. Cooking Amari food was my battle. Cleaning up after the kids, Andre, whatever, was my battle. Right? Keeping down and holding down the fort was my battle. Being in the yard was my battle. Filing a lawsuit, trying to keep up with it, was my battle. But at the end of the day, like I said prior to all that, in the last video, it was my government's responsibility to pull up her pharmacare file to see what was charged to her medical number, to find out exactly what she got, when she got it, where she got it from, and how much the taxpayers paid for it. And then once they isolated this clinic, that clinic, the hospital, wherever, they should have, through discovery, pulled in all those records and analyzed them. And analyzed them. And had a forensic pathologist do an investigation to halt rogue hospitals from illegally harvesting organs from people who have been murdered in the province of British Columbia, Canada, never mind putting them on a hospital bed, embalmed, and then sucking up millions of dollars, taxpayers' dollars, to try and fool the family and whoever else went in to visit her for those 9 days to cover up murder and illegal organ harvesting. That's the cross that the province carries. Each and every politician in that parliament building carry that cross. And we can carry more than one cross. They are duty bound. They took an oath to serve the public. It was their duty to investigate and root out the corruption. It was the province who dropped the ball.
Eyes and doctor whatever had you distracted. Distracted from your own daughter, Judy? Dang.
There is no statute of limitation on murder. What part of that don't you understand? I could file a lawsuit just based on that. And if they throw it out, make sure it gets to the appeal board of 3 judges. Bring in Uncle John's lawsuit. Bring in CIBC Bank lawsuit. Bring in Fraser Health lawsuit. And the new lawsuit. And ask those 3 judges to finally do the right thing and investigate what the hell is going on in this province. Follow the money. Go look and see if Uncle John's superannuation life insurance policy somehow got reinstated through a backroom deal where the province had to pay out $500,000 on his superannuation life insurance policy that he forfeited on when he turned 65 years old. Because if they paid out that type of superannuation life insurance policy, then that was done through fraud. Because I was there. John never paid into his superannuation life insurance policy once he turned 65 years old, because he knew that his family would come in there and try and steal it from him. And he said, Judy, I don't want my family coming and bothering you and harassing you and trying to threaten you and do all, so I'm not paying into that, because once you turn 65 as a government employee, you have the choice. You can keep your superannuation life insurance policy, but you have to pay in it. And he said no. And if for some strange reason Eleanor Gilding got $200,000, $400,000, however much money through a superannuation life insurance policy in Mr. John Duncan's freaking name, then it was done through fraud, just like she stole his money at CIBC Bank with an inheritance that she didn't tell him about for over 14 months. That is illegal. You don't hold somebody's inheritance for 14 months and not tell them about it. That is illegal. That's what the government needs to be investigating. But they won't do that, though, because they have no problem locking up old people, especially if they own the houses, because once they get into the hospital system and then they get sent to the temporary care ward because they're being placed into long-term care, they never get out, and they are forced to sell their houses. And while they wait to sell the house, if they're there for 6 months, then they pay, in those days, it was $32 a day for 6 freaking months in a row. After they sell their house, before they're transported to an old folks home, locked in it like a prison, and then made to pay, I think it was like more than like 80% or 70% of their income, regardless of where that income comes from, as a pension, to the care home. And they still get extra fees added on. Oh, you want a haircut? That's an extra $20. Oh, you want this? Oh, it's an extra $40. Blah, blah, blah. So by the time they're done, they have nothing. And then what? They get treated like Joan. Oh, well, your time is up. We need the bed. We're just going to shut off the IV and let you die. And that's what they did. Well, Eleanor Gilding sat on her superannuation life insurance policy and any other life insurance policies that she had, that she left John some of it and didn't tell Uncle John for 14 months until he got sick. He got pneumonia. I didn't want him to die because I didn't want him to get dehydrated. We both agreed the best thing for him to do was to go to the hospital in a non-emergency situation, so he didn't have to sit in the hall, like sit in the foyer, right, at the beginning when you go into the hospital for 10 hours. It was better to have him go in under a non-emergency situation through the ambulance so that he could be treated faster, and look what happened. He got medically kidnapped. Do I feel bad for closing my account at CIBC Bank for everything that they've done to my family? Because they killed him. It was a slow, lonely, terrible death, because they sided with Eleanor, a professional who worked for the province for over 40 years as a senior nurse to their immunization program. And she pulled the clout when she came to Vancouver and said, oh, he's my brother, blah, 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 blah. I'm holding this life insurance policy, John's sitting on $800,000, but we can't let Judy get her grubby little fingers on it because she's a fucking thief. No, I looked after her brother for 35 freaking years, and that bitch was nowhere around. His whole family was nowhere around. They abandoned Uncle John. That's why he stayed with me. He raised my kids. And what did his family do? He took all my kids. They took all my kids and they treated them like garbage and for money. That's what the government needs to investigate. They need to see if that crooked fucking bitch turned around and bought somebody off with Uncle John's superannuation money that she stole from him and then locked him up like a damn dirty secret, threw away the key, and then made it so that he died, 1 or 2 days before they actually took him? Or when he actually went into the hospital as a satanic freaking ritual to what? Protect them for the crap that they did to him? Yeah, but I guess the government doesn't care. They don't care about illegal organ harvesting and the millions of dollars of a dead body sitting on a bed in a hospital sucking up taxpayers' dollars. As long as they got their fucking organs for free. You know what I'm saying? They didn't care about Uncle John. And people, Uncle John is sitting up in that old care home, and there's old people asking my kids to take them to the washroom because the immigrants wouldn't do it. Saying, I want to go home, but they won't let me go home. A man packing up his shit, I'm going home, and they're stopping and they're preventing him from going home because they're telling him he can't go home. He'll never go back home. He has to sell his house, and he has to pay $32 for 6 months and longer until he sells his house. So he can go to an old folks home and pay 80% of his income and then still have to pay for a stupid haircut. Well, another man is at the bottom of this, out by the foyer, trying to escape from the building with his friend as they're calling in the police. And the police are coming in saying, no, you can't leave because that freaking immigrant social worker said you can't. Where is the government protecting the elderly in this province? Nowhere to be found. Why is MCFD making it so freaking hard on me? Why? When I'm probably one of the hardest workers on the block when it comes to my age. Not to say that my friend over there with her beautiful yard who's 70, a little more older than me, doesn't bust her butt because she does. But you know what? She's facing homelessness. As soon as she gets kicked out of her freaking house that she's been there for 30 fucking years, pays her taxes, when she goes to the grocery stores and go buy gas and all this other crap, keeps her yard immaculate, she's gonna be homeless. Where is the government? They don't care. So go ahead, call the fucking government. Who cares? And no, you're not riling me up because the same stupid shit that I've been talking about for fucking years. I'm just keeping it up there, out in front. So people like, I guess, Jacob and Mike and their friends who are lurking catch a clue. And maybe they'll come together, form a group, figure out a way so that their family can survive. They don't need to lose anybody in their family. This is the 21st century. Why are people dying like flies? Why is the government ignoring that? Why doesn't the government want to know if fraud was committed within their superannuation financial department, where someone like Eleanor can scoop up on $800,000, $500,000, $200,000, doesn't matter, where she can put out bribes, bribe people, pay bribes, pay people off to tweak this and tweak that, like she did with CIBC Bank. Why don't they investigate the banks? Why don't they go into these old folks' homes and these care facilities and talk to the old people and find out what's really going on? Because they need the houses to go up in the market so that foreigners can come in and pay over exorbitant prices so that they can flush out all the vulnerable families or individuals or couples or whoever, and then send in the clowns, whatever those clowns are, to reap the rewards as people fall off the grid. If it's not MCFD scooping up on the little children that lose their homes, it's the old people being scooped up and put off here and have their assets robbed. If it's not that, it's couples breaking up and ending out on the streets homeless. Next thing you know, so-and-so might be a little bit of an alcoholic, but he was a functioning alcoholic. He worked in a freaking university, but now that he's fucking homeless, he's like a full-blown freaking alcoholic, and he never recovers. Where's my 70-year-old friend supposed to go when she gets kicked out of her house that she's been living in for 30 fucking years, huh? Where? There's nowhere to go. Where's the government? Protecting your ass? You expect the government not to pay attention to you if they're listening to my videos? You got nothing to say. At least I got something to say of substance. You just come in with threats. I ain't threatening nobody. I'm working like a damn dog.
Where's that thrive in you? Where's that fight that used to be in you? Where's that that oomph that I liked about you before, Judy? You're really just allowing...
You're just thinking about yourself. At least I think about other people. Seriously. And I don't do it like through being trivial. I take it serious. Oh, and by the way, I noticed that you got something here on your head, whereas you're kind of hiding your freaking funny-looking, what do you call those things, eyebrows. And Andre, he keeps insisting that whatever is on your lip is a wart. And I'm like, are you sure it's not a black piercing thing? He goes, no, that's a wart. I'm like, okay.
The little things to slow you down.
What you gonna do when it gets real big?
And I mean, at your age, I get it's to come, right? It's very quick to come. That's fine. Also, I've already made it clear when you said you didn't pick up Amari, the multiple videos and...
You should never have had the right to pick up Amari in the first place. That is where MCFD dropped the ball. Yep. Now, under that Family Act, supposedly he had the right, even if he was a drug dealer, a drug user, and an alcoholic, a murderer, and a woman abuser who liked to threaten my family with coming to my house and busting up my windows, shooting everybody, and doing whatever, because that's what he was doing. Like I said, I should have called the cops, but ShaMay didn't want me to call the cops, and yada-de-yada, and we were just hoping by that point he would just go away, because I finally got him out of the house. But the bastard found his way back in through a lie after you laced ShaMay cigarettes. Yeah, we know that story.
And pictures I have already posted. That's an irrelevant statement, and you can keep saying the same thing, but as the viewers can see, that is not true. Now, if I chose to...
Hell, when they took Andre, Sierra wasn't allowed to have visits unsupervised. She had to have them at the welfare office, like, the ministry office. She wasn't allowed to have visits here at the house with Andre. Why was Julian so special? Why was he allowed to have visits with your mom supervising those visits? When in fact, he should have been having them at the MCFD office. I'm just saying. I had to turn down the heat.
Expose ShaMay one too many times, that is not true. Now, if I chose to expose ShaMay...
Okay, so let's go back just so we know what you're talking about.
The multiple videos and pictures I have already posted, that's an irrelevant statement, and you can keep saying the same thing, but as the viewers can see, That is not true. Now, if I chose to expose ShaMay one too many times, you know, this, that, and the third, the text messages on her phone, this, that, and the third, it's like, for me, and what I said before, is that you as a mother should want certain things not to be shown about your daughter, the truth about your daughter. You should want those things private. And if you knew how to just maybe articulate yourself and speak about what you think is whatever and correct, if you know how to speak about that without trying to bash or falsely accuse somebody else, because I've already told your illiterate self that when your daughter was at my mommy's house bringing the baby.
Illiterate means you can't read. To be literate means you can read. To be illiterate, well, it's illiterate means you don't know how to read. You can't read words. So what are you saying? I'm illiterate? I don't know how to read?
Where was that? I wasn't there. You keep talking about switching the names on the birth certificate. That has nothing to do with me. And if you think that my life was really revolving around Julian and ShaMay at that time, for real. Like, go on somewhere, girl. Go on, because what you're saying is false accusations, and I think it is a defamation of character as well. So if you want me, since I know how and where I can actually serve you with papers. For you, on the other hand, you don't know where to locate me to serve me papers.
So now you're threatening me. This is threat number 4. So first, you're going to come to my house no matter what because you know where I live and you think you have a right just to show up at my doorstep. Second one is you're going to call MCFD on me on multiple occasions for this, that, and everything else under sun, as you're plotting and scheming to call the city of Surrey again, because you've already done it a few times in the past, and now you want to serve me papers, but I can't serve them back to you because I don't know where you are. Like, seriously, oh my God, you got, and you go for counseling? Well, no wonder why you go for counseling.
Well, like I had said already, my husband and I, between that,
kind of makes you wonder what kind of husband you have.
Good on finances. So we wouldn't actually have to get a legal aid lawyer. We don't require one.
Oh, so now you're sicking a lawyer on me? For what? For speaking about my daughter and how she was murdered? Yeah, I'd like to see that one go through court.
We'd be able to pay for an actual lawyer.
What, to shut me up about my own daughter? I don't think so. What my opinions are on how she was murdered and who did it, nobody can stop me from talking about that. Bimbo. Nobody. Put my ass in jail and I'll be talking to all the bitches in jail about it. Yeah, start my own little gang in jail. Yeah.
So if you want that to happen at this point, we can definitely do that, because all of your videos on YouTube do show insanity and multiple bashing and defamation of character. Repeat.
Yeah, well, if you notice, it's a walk and talk. You put yourself out there, it's YouTube, it's fair game. That's why you wanted to start the beef sector, and you couldn't get it going, so now you gotta go for a second round so that you can monetize your channel off of the clout that you get from, bashing me? You bash me as much as I bash you back. The only difference is, I'm more articulate than you. My game is a bigger fight than just you, where you just fight with me. No. The fight is a whole lot bigger. There's Uncle John, there's ShaMay, there's Sierra, there's Andre, there's Amari, there's my neighbors, there's my community. There's Jacob, there's Mike. Okay?
So, whatever game, whatever ball game, whatever play, whatever you're interested in, let me know. Because that's fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
My daughter was murdered. Her name was ShaMay Chorney. She was 22 years old. She was 12 days of going to college so that she could go into the medical field to eventually become a registered nurse, because she was of high IQ and was able to follow that career path. And she was murdered because she didn't want to be with somebody that couldn't change his ways, and she decided to hook up with her ex-boyfriend, which made you and Julian livid, and you thought by killing ShaMay, you'd get the baby next day, because statistically, there are families out there that work together as a team, mother, father, brother, sister, whoever, kids, however the family is put together, to murder other people for an end result, and oftentimes children are involved. So you're not a unique situation. What's unique is the police aren't doing their job while the government is covering it up, because body parts are the big money tickets when it comes to stimulating the underground economy to prop up the general economy, as people are being bought off with bribes and perks and hush money to facilitate crimes so that people can build on their portfolios. Their money portfolios, right? They're addicted to money. They're addicted to power. Many of them are psychopaths. They don't care who they hurt, as long as they can amass great wealth, right? Whether it's on a personal level or whether it's on a collective level in terms of an organized religion. You can't talk like I talk. So what? Does that make you smarter than me? No. I don't think so. You haven't walked my walk. You haven't done the things that I have. So go ahead. Do your dirty cards. Call MCFD. They'll be like, she's called 5 times. What's wrong with this girl? Call the city of Syria. I'll be like, here, I got a video. This girl telling already 3 times she's done it. At least 3 times. And she's doing it again. She's doing it out of spite. You know, right? What is there left to take out in my yard? You know, I'm already out like 10 grand because of what you took and what I had to pay for to have it be taken. And I'm left here with a leaky porch with no wood to fix it. I'm just saying.
Was there anything else I was gonna tell you, babe? Because I don't remember. Must be mommy brain. Oh, well, anyways, there is somebody that is supporting me on my side. And you can go through and look through the comments again. And you also, in your last video, you happened to actually forget to look at one of my shorts that I responded to you about. Yeah. I'm very happy that my kid does not have to have hand-me-downs like your grandkids. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that my kid is going to be well taken care of. I love that for my child.
Yeah, well, you go for counseling and anger management. Okay.
I'm loving.
When you don't have a nervous breakdown and end up on pills to keep you stable. I'm just saying.
The fact that it's not going to be born out of wedlock like majority of your grandkids. Since you said...
Well, just remember, when you break up and you have a divorce, you secure that child support. You might not get it for 25 years, but you might start getting it when the child is 26. And you might need that child support. Just some word of advice.
I'm obsessed with your little daughter there. We'll just not name drop, because I'm not going to give you or her that little clout. But...
is this video almost over? Oh my God.
I just hope that you can find some way somehow to grieve and get things done around the place. Because imagine all the energy and effort you're putting into these videos.
No, you know what?
You could be putting that into
it just reinforces what I've been saying all these years. That's all. That's all it does. It just reinforces. What it does is it gives my family more ammunition so that when I die, they've got the proof to keep your ass far away from the house. Yeah, there's no denying it. There's no reason for you to be coming around any of us. I don't care who it is.
Making something for Amari. You could be putting that into teaching Andre how to read and write. Just because the child does not want to doesn't mean you don't make them. But that's exactly what the repercussions, and eventually Andre is going to start blaming you in the future, blaming his mom.
Andre's going to go to work tomorrow with his uncle. So one way or another way, Andre's going to find his way.
In the future, because when it comes down to relationships,
Andre is an apprentice, I guess you could say.
And the ability to communicate, that's when it's going to hit him when he's older and people make fun of him.
And now that he got that money from Uncle John that's been sitting in a bank for 8 years, as the bank was chipping away, taking fees on it, and the thing itself was like only $98 and we got back $85 after they stole hundreds of thousands from Uncle John and then made it so that he died an old lonely man locked up in some old folks home. You know, all Andre's mind is he wants to study now for Uncle John because he really appreciates that Uncle John, after all these years, are making a difference in his life, even if it only meant $85. That's how much he appreciates the thought of what Uncle John was trying to do for Andre when him and I opened up that trust account. Initially, it was a trust account. I borrowed money on my life insurance, but I needed that money to take my government to court to fight for Andre because I didn't qualify for a lawyer. So I was going to take it to the Supreme Court. And I paid this, that, whatever I needed to get my ass there and file the paperwork and do whatever. And the government got heebie-jeebie, had some judge tell me to go back to legal aid. 3 months later, put another application in, and magically it was approved by the head supervisor in the Parliament buildings up by in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And isn't it interesting, we've got more higher-ups now watching my YouTube channel again, with you putting your face right in the middle of it all, with your 4 or 5 threats. How many threats? 4 that I can remember right now. I think there was 5 in there. All in a space of 2 days. And you don't expect them to take notes on you? Like, come on.
And or when people just count him out, or he goes to get a job, and they
He's already got a job. He's got Brad, his boss, that will have Andre work anytime Andre is willing and wanting to go. Plus, he's got his uncle. Andre's actually got 2 jobs, really. And with the weather warming up, well, we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, you have no education. You're not helping him for his future, and that's the sad part. Maybe he could live off a disability
yeah, I did.
like you. Maybe that.
I prevented him from turning out to be a freaking hoodlum like you. That's what I did. I made sure he didn't grow up like you, to end up like you with a bad attitude and get addicted to this and addicted to that at an early age, right? You know what I'm saying? And he's also very good with Amari, something that you couldn't even do as an adult when Amari was 7 months old, where Andre is there for Amari every day with the grind. And Andre has a heart of steel when he needs it. I'm just saying. Not too many kids can do what Andre does. So you're not giving any credit where credit is due. So that shows how ungrateful you are for the things that Andre does for Amari. Because you're sure in the hell not there. And you won't be there. Because that's the point of these videos. Is to remind people that you need to stay far away from my family.
Is something that he aims for. I don't know. Maybe that's something you want for him. I don't know. That is completely up to you guys. But yeah, as of right now, me and my husband are planning baby showers, our wedding. I mean, we're already legally married, but we're going to have a bigger wedding where everybody can come. as well as a trip, just the two of us, maybe the three of us, depending on the time and place. And I actually never had said that I'm 2 months pregnant, by the way. Why would I say that? I'm well past that. I'm well past that. I'm good, pretty good at math, so I don't know what you heard, but maybe it's your dream.
I don't know. You took down the video. It was that noisy-ass video. You took it down probably just so that you can say what you're saying now.
Who's talking to you again?
Are we done?
Remember that.
Oh no, we still got another couple of more minutes. Yeah, 2 more minutes.
Anyways, payday just hit. Just got off work. So I'm going to enjoy my weekend, do some self-care. I'm actually getting taken out to an expensive restaurant tomorrow. The bill between me and my husband will probably come to around bare minimum $400 to $600. I hope that maybe somebody can give you that.
Talk about gorging. Or just straight up pig.
Maybe some attention. Maybe you need that.
I mean, seriously, $400 for a dinner for 2 people? Oh my God.
Maybe Mike and Brian or whatever their names are that are commenting on my stuff. Maybe they can send you a little something. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
No, what they need to do is protect their families and fight the good fight. We need more men on board. That's what we need. Big, burly, brassy men that can put people into check and can move things forward, push the envelope, whatever it is, pave the path, whatever it is that men are good at doing. So the more we can get the men to band together to start standing up for the community and protect the community, the actual community, and the families and the children and the elderly and whoever needs to be protected, then the better off we'll all be.
Lastly, I just wanted to come and let Brian or whoever commented.
I don't know who the hell this Brian is, but
about Julian getting shot at the gas station. Like that affected me at all. I just wanted to let them know, just in case they don't have the time to read the comment I responded to. I know that you'll put this in your video so they can watch it and hear it from me. So I just wanted to let him know that the person who killed Julian, you probably don't keep up with the news. I actually have a picture of that guy unalived, blood gushing out of his head. That same person who killed Julian, he got peed on and defecated himself at his unaliving and then got burnt to a crisp in a house fire. You should probably look up that article, by the way.
oh, so how the hell would you Google that? Guy who got burnt crisp and peed on himself. Drop some names here if you're so smart. Where's the proof? Does it say that he killed Julian? Or was he murdered too? Who knows? I don't know.
Brian is right. Karma is a female dog. Yes, it is.
And you ain't dropping no names. He can't Google. Nobody can Google who the hell you're talking about. You're not showing no proof. You're just putting out rumorville. Even if the guy is dead, who's to say he's the one who did it? There was more than one person who didn't like your brother. Right? So why are you picking on one person and you don't even want to drop his name? But yet the dude's dead. Doesn't add up there. What are you hiding? What are you hiding?
Child, I just knew that it would come. And I'm happy. Everything is all centered now. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
So now you're a guru. There.
Best way to unclog your arteries, cut out salt.
Okay, so I guess we'll finish it on these comments here, which this is the video that I just did the walk and talk through. She's got a total of 12 views. I guess she put the video up 3 hours ago. This Mr. Lantern has been around for as long as she's been around. So I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't her talking to herself. Okay, so, you know, this is her supporter, right? This is the comment she wanted me to make reference to. So we'll do that, right? Judy was a neglectful parent who only had her kids to keep the welfare money flowing. Right, that's why I worked with 40 to 60 kids for over 2.5 years in a courtyard in an apartment building that was the most impoverished building in all of Surrey at that time for no paycheck, and I was not on welfare. That's why no of the kids have their fathers in their lives. Well, first of all, that's not true. Brooks has his dad in Alberta, can call and go visit anytime he wants, right? As a matter of fact, he went up to Alberta at one point in the past, and he has a sister up in Alberta that wants him to go to Alberta, but he chooses not to. Marcane has his dad in Texas, talks to his dad and his sister and his other siblings in Texas, and can go to Texas anytime he wants. Jerome, Tisha's dad, is always around Tisha, and he just gave her a whole whack of money because his sister died and left him over $90,000 worth of money, and he just gave Tisha $4,000. He invites her to his annual union Christmas parties. He goes to birthday parties. He visits my house from time to time. So he's always actually in Tisha's life. So I don't know what you're talking about here. Her neglect caused her kids to get involved with drugs. No, what the government did was illegally, through their workers, apprehend a happy child who was 28 months old, as they forced the mother of that child out onto the streets in the middle of winter to prove a point that they were bigger and badder and that she couldn't come home because she wasn't coming home. So they wanted to teach her a lesson even though she was coming home. They didn't, just fucking with her head, because they knew if they threw her out in the streets, she'd be disconnected from her methadone, yada-de-yada. We know the story, and sure enough, within 10 days, someone injected her with heroin, and it was game over, and they basically allowed her to stay out on the streets, homeless for 8 years, being pimped, used, and abused, until she was lured to her death to have her organs harvested and any other part of her body harvested, because I do not believe that Sierra is in a coffin. You can convince yourself that your dead brother is in a coffin, but I don't believe my dead daughter is in a coffin, so keep your head in the sand. And she is the reason why 2 of them are dead. Not true. Not a great track. So this I do believe is Tamika talking to herself. Because she needs to have a way to comment through it, right? Because she's, in the past, has history of creating fake user accounts so that she can talk to herself. I caught her in the act. All right. Either or, it doesn't really matter. Track record as a parent. MCFD must be desperate for people to look after children. I wouldn't trust her with a pet rock. And of course, she needed to have somebody to come and answer the question, right? Or whatever, the comments. So, don't be surprised if she's not talking to herself. This is a fake user account that hides behind a name that's fake. Okay? This comment is everything. You're completely right, in my opinion. Only sane people know and see that as she is the one who has the video of Sierra and Andre's dad doing eggs in the same bedroom, ShaMay moved into. Well, I did that on purpose. I had ShaMay, she came told me, I said, here, take the video, go record it. You can thank the social workers for that one. We didn't turn her into a junkie. They did. They failed her. They failed this whole family. But besides that point, we got over it. But then Uncle John was medically kidnapped. And then the shit started all over again. And then it just started over again when ShaMay was murdered. Cover up after cover up after cover up. And here we are today. Right? Anyway, imagine how Andre could and might feel seeing both his parents like that. Well, first of all, Austin was nowhere to be seen. I don't even think I have a video of Austin in all my videos in the picture. So nobody would even know what Austin looks like. So that's misleading. And humiliated publicly at the hands of ShaMay and Judy. No. Andre has a right to know what happened to his mother. He's old enough. You can't hide it from him forever. Mind you, while dating Freddie, okay, so me and my brother, okay, so where am I? Imagine how Andre, where are we? Just hold on. Okay. Imagine how Andre could and might feel seeing both his parents like that. That's misleading. And humiliated publicly at the hands of ShaMay and Judy. No, he has the right to take the government to court after he turns 19 years old on his own for what they did to his family and him and his mother. But it's mainly against him and his mother. ShaMay is the one who took that video showing that she was aware and fully around drug abuse. No, Sierra came back into the house because she had nowhere to go and she was desperate. And she was in mourning for her family, for her child, for her security, for her safety. Instead, she was put out on the street, used and abused. Anyway, around drug abuse, her home life, even before me and my brother came into the picture. You're right. Sierra was introduced to methamphetamine when she was 13 years old at one of the richest schools in Delta, BC. It started with crack and then it quickly went to meth. And that was on middle school grounds. Yep. And by the time I figured it out, it was already too late. Because that's the thing about meth. One hit, and kids are usually addicted to it. Yeah. And because I didn't know anything about meth, and it took me a while to figure it out, and it's not no new news. Anyway, mind you, while dating Freddie, he told me he would come home from work on a Friday and ShaMay would have 20, 30 Molly. Yeah, you've said that before and I highly doubt it because it doesn't make sense, right? Go for the weekend. So you got Freddie and ShaMay doing 20 or 30 Mollies over a weekend, but you couldn't wait to jump into his bed while he was still with ShaMay after being with her for 5 years so that you could break them up and steal Freddie from ShaMay. That's what the tampons and the bobby pin, and there was something else you left in Freddie's bedroom, hoping that ShaMay would find them, get mad, and break up with Freddie so that you could start being his quote-unquote girlfriend. I guess to pick up with the Molly usage, being that Freddie was an addict when he wasn't at work. Okay? I'm just saying. ShaMay didn't sit up there and do Molly by herself. So Freddie did half and ShaMay did half. And you couldn't wait to get into Freddie's pants, kick out ShaMay, and become Freddie's girlfriend, and then expect everybody to believe that you weren't doing Molly yourself. Right? Right. That's why you're clean. Right? That's why you hooked up with a drug dealer named Cheeseburger. And that's why you're up on YouTube in 2026 saying that you're clean. Right? Are you sure maybe you don't got yourself confused with these numbers? Maybe this is you that you're talking about and you're just confused about it. ShaMay had a high IQ. She was an honor student. Okay? When they took Andre, she was pulling in honors in school while she was dating Freddie. I don't think she had time to do Molly's. Okay? I'm just saying. People who do Molly's, especially in that amount, I would think, couldn't concentrate. Never mind be on the honor roll in grade 10, 11, and 12 and play piano and read music and learn a second language all on their own. I'm just saying. Where was I? Okay, now my eyes are fading out here. Okay, so 20, 30 Mollies to go for the weekend. When this guy she bought off of a named Raheem, Freddie's best friend's little brother, so now she's dropping more names, brother who sold drugs to ShaMay, said at a birthday party, and I quote, "Your ex is my biggest customer." Well, if she bought anything, she probably gave it to Shelby or someone like that. I'm just saying. Even when, again, after she finished school, she went to work and was starting to save money to go to college. But then she met your brother and everything fell apart. I wonder why. Even when I have them in capsules, she still cracks them open. And that was heard and seen by my own eyes as the liars. Jesus Christ is my witness. Yeah, right. Whatever you got to say doesn't distract away from you and your brother plotting and scheming through the act of premeditation to murder ShaMay because both of you were livid that she was getting back with Freddie, somebody that she had been with for 5 years, and she didn't want to be with your brother no more. So what did you do? Take out the other video? Do you see how she plays games? So she took out the other video with Jacob's comments on it now. So, and she got this one here now. Well, that's okay. I got my back up. I did my walk and talk. Alright.